Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel, It's Son of a Gun Gourmet. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a 3-layer panna cotta. It's very straightforward, but looks so amazing people will think that you're a culinary wizard. Remember to like and subscribe, and let's start cooking. So our 3 layers are going to consist of coffee, Baileys, and chocolate, a great combination. Start by measuring out 1 tablespoon of instant coffee. Add 150 milliliters of piping hot water to it. Put the coffee in a mixing bowl. It should be fully combined. Next, add 1 teaspoon of powdered gelatin and whisk it until it's dissolved. Gelatin does like to stick to the bottom of the bowl, so make sure you mix it well. To sweeten it up, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of condensed milk. It'll also give this layer a nice velvety texture. Pour 50 milliliters into each of your 3 ramekins. You're going to have a little left over, but you could set this small amount as a test to make sure the others will come out properly. Put your 3 ramekins in the fridge to set. And while you're waiting, you can work on the next layer. Measure out 100 milliliters of 35% cream. Add in 1 teaspoon of white sugar. Put the mixture into a saucepan, place it on the stove, turn it to high heat, and let it come to a boil. Once the sugar dissolves into the cream, you can take it off the heat. While the cream is still hot, add 1 teaspoon of gelatin and mix it in. Panna Cotta is a traditional Italian dessert, and the name literally translates to cooked cream. So you know when you're getting one that there's always 2 consistencies, and that's dairy and something to set it with, most likely gelatin. Now we're going to incorporate 50 milliliters of Baileys, but any Irish cream will do. I'll leave a link for my video on how to make Irish cream with a Canadian twist. It's also really good in this recipe. The maple syrup in it goes really well with chocolate and coffee. Keep this mixture lukewarm if you're still waiting for the first layer to set. Once it is, pour it over top, 50 milliliters in each ramekin just like before. A good trick when pouring your warm mix over the set layer is to pour it on a spoon like you see me doing here. It will prevent the hotter liquid from breaking it. If you don't and it's a little too hot, the panna cotta will come out cloudy rather than having clean lines. Time to put these back in the fridge to reset, and we'll get going on the 3rd layer. Start by measuring 120 milliliters of 35% cream and then putting it into a saucepan. Put it on the stove and bring it to a boil. Once it hits a boil, kill the heat and start whisking in 30 grams of dark chocolate. The dark chocolate I'm using is 75% cocoa, so it's pretty bitter, but it does have a touch of sweetness. While it's still hot, add 1 teaspoon of powdered gelatin and a pinch of salt. Salt really brings out the flavor in chocolate, so even though it just looks like a tiny little pinch, it actually makes a big difference. Keep the chocolate warm until you're ready to pour it in the ramekins. Once you are, pour 50 milliliters into each. Back into the fridge to let it set one more time. It is beneficial to let the dessert set overnight or at least for a couple hours after you add the last layer to really let it firm up. To get the panna cotta out of the ramekin and onto the plate nicely, we want to put it into a hot water bath for just long enough to get the very edge to start to melt. And you could run a palette knife along it if you're really having trouble. Once it's ready, put a plate over top and flip it over. When you take the ramekin off, it will be a little bit runny, so I just place it onto a different plate. And to finish it off, garnish with shaved chocolate. Now you can make a beautiful, decadent dessert perfect for special occasions. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep on cooking.